Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is...
Hey, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
Eddie, if Edward is truth.
Was that actually your quote, or did I just
Yes.
inspire you at the last...
No, you
Wow.
you jogged
Yeah.
my memory because I was like, I knew I
Yeah.
wanted to say something Loomisy.
Let me see.
The lunacy of the lunacy.
Lunacy, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking about Halloween original, released October 25th, 1978. We've had a very interesting uh, sequence uh,
Yeah.
uh, to which we have discussed these Halloween films
Yeah.
because we started way back when with Halloween 2018 and we covered this was right before the release of
Oh.
Hens. So in like a span of a couple months, we did 2018, Kills, Hens, and
Hmm.
then I think a while later we went back and then we did H2O and Resurrection in close proximity. Last year we covered Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
So now we're just going on a tear.
Yeah.
We're covering one, two, four, five, and six over the course of the next 2 months.
OG
Um,
timeline. Yeah.
yeah, I call it the Loomis timeline. Uh,
Loomis
the Loomis
toys.
timeline. Uh, yeah, which will be interesting because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of conversation that comes up about, where the timelines diverge here. Because we
Hmm.
could look at events in this movie and be like, well, this happens, but actually, no, this happens over here. So I think that's
Yeah.
now that we're talking about this movie and all of the movies. I mean, Halloween Ends came out so long ago now, like it was like 3 years
It's
ago.
already a cult classic. Yes.
I still don't own it. I have all
Oh,
the Halloween films except for Ends. And I mean, it's not that I don't want it. I just haven't had the opportunity. I don't like any of the releases of like, yeah, I hate that release. Like I hate the artwork of the new film. I hate how everything is so uniform. Like those three movies, it's just his
yeah.
mask and the profile, and there's like, different stages of deterioration, and then there's like the fiery embers or whatnot. It's just like just make artwork fun again. We always talk about that. But yeah, and and
Yeah.
and besides that, like they still haven't released a proper set, at least for like 2018, where we have that alternate ending or like the
Right.
whatever the battle is between them in the front yard.
Yeah.
Which like people want to see it.
They're saving
Like
it
give
for the
it,
4K maybe, the 4K three
it's been on
pack.
4K. It's been
No, the 4K three pack.
they've released 10 of these 4K three packs. It's
But I
yeah.
don't, yeah, I don't know what they're waiting for then.
It's not
I got it on,
until
yes.
no, it'll be like when a boutique label like Arrow or Shout finally gets their hands on it. They'll be like, okay, well, like, break out the special features. Like, stop giving the same
Right.
bullshit every time, because
Yeah.
they care mostly,
Yeah, the studios, not so
mostly.
much.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one I just picked up and showed, I'm not going to do it again, but it was a
Thank
Blu-ray
you.
DVD thing because it was before I got my new 4K. I bought one,
Cool.
and I'll talk about it while we discuss this movie because I watched my
Yeah.
4K of this movie. But I only had because I already owned 2018 and Kills with their slipcovers, big whoop, and I tried to sell them at a, like a buyer seller DVD, LP, CD kind of place.
Yeah.
They didn't want them. I took them multiple times with like stacks of things when I was selling, and they never bought them. So they're still. So I figured, oh, I may as. And as I was buying up the 4K Blu-ray combos of the other, the OG runs of the Halloween movies that were being
Yeah.
released by Screen Factory, I figured, well, I'd still have 2018 and Kills. I may as well have Hens. So I bought it off eBay for almost nothing, like $7. Still brand new, but nobody
Yeah.
wants it. and I got it, and it was missing the disc, and I had to buy not buy it again, but I had to let the seller know you sent me something. They're like, I don't know, and I'm like, no,
This is not a movie where I'm gonna try to
yeah.
swindle
I, I'm not trying to get away with anything. I really
you.
just
Yeah.
wanted the movie. If you don't want to refund me, like we can take it up with eBay and see what they think. But yeah, and they sent me another copy and it worked, and it was like, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate
Mm,
that. Here's your
yeah.
5-star review or whatever the equivalent is on eBay. I gave them a
Yeah.
thumbs up, you know.
I mean, I've quadruple dipped
Ugh.
so many times, like on all of these movies. Like I have multiple copies. I really liked the more recent Scream Factory. They had the first 8 in the, and I'm sure I've shown them on here before.
Mhm, mhm.
The all uniform cover art, and they released the first 5, and then there was a box set with 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there we go. Except mine had a slipcase
mine does too. It's
with
just
it.
back there.
Oh,
I like to keep them safe.
fair enough. And I have the big box set from 2014.
Right.
And the thing that's funny now is there's a new release coming out, which I just saw, and this is as of the time of this recording, which is September 2025.
Mhm.
It's like a giant Halloween jack-o'-lantern, and within it is housed 5 steelbooks. This is like
Right.
4K of the first 5 movies, and it's all like the original cover art with no text, and like it all looks really nice. And I was looking at it and like, I don't got room for that shit. I don't need to buy these again and again. Like if that set had all 13 movies in it, I would for sure throw my money down because it's like, okay, you're giving me all the movies,
Right.
great. And like a big pumpkin that size, like you could fit
Hmm.
13 in there. Like why are they making this big thing to fit 5 with like a length in between each one where you could
Yeah.
easily fit more movies in. So it's just it doesn't sound worth it to me. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I'm good. I'm good for
Yeah.
now.
No, my oldest friend John Carlos sent me the link or like maybe a week ago or something like that from Imprint Films, the
Yeah.
4K Blu-ray combo steel books of each one of them in the limited edition pumpkin. But I do like that they had the OG cover art for like every single one of the steel books. But yeah, I was with you. I was just he thought I was going to get excited about it. I'm like, it's just the first 5 movies, and I already got all my 4K Blu-ray combos, and I like those cases. I like that they're more Shout Factory in that you get like, you can do the reversible slip
Yeah.
inside, or not slip, but the reversible cover inside, and then
Insert, yeah.
it can, so you can get best of both worlds and everything. And I said, no, I'm good. I'm more excited about the Nightmare box. It's, all inclusive except for the remake. I'm fine with
Mm.
that exclusion. But
And no Freddy versus Jason.
and I already have that in my frickin' Jason box, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need that in 4K.
No, that's
I'm
fair.
good. Anyway,
Um,
oh, so while we're just talking about that, should I just where because we got one source where you can watch Halloween on this upcoming 4K
sure.
thing
Yeah.
release.
Yeah, do your
Um,
thing.
there's also, of course, numerous editions you can buy, but if you just want to stream, because you just roll like that, right now, as of this recording, it's currently streaming on AMC Plus, which is basically Shutter these days, or free with ads on Plex or Fawsome. So there you go. You can, but has anybody not seen this movie?
I'm sure there's probably like lots of people. Like I got a message yesterday from someone who's just like, "Hey, like my son has just started getting into Scream and like he was watching your videos." And I'm just like, "Oh, that's so cool." Yeah, it's just like
Oh,
I miss that. It's like just like to get to relive that experience of discovering something like Scream or
yeah.
Halloween for the first time. So I'm sure there's lots of people. I'm sure there's people who have seen the new movies and have not seen the original yet, which is, come
Yeah,
on,
that's
what are
true.
you doing with your life?
What are you doing? Don't go see something that's like the 12th in a sequence of films without seeing the first.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm trying to think if I've
Yeah.
ever done that. I've been exposed to things like back in the day when like there was cable and you could watch something that was already halfway through the movie, like in
Yeah.
already in progress on HBO or something like that. That I think because I remember I didn't see Aliens from the beginning the first time I was exposed to footage of it, but I also ran out of the room every time it was on the television or flip the channel. But sometimes I would just full on just I'm gonna leave and just somebody will find this and they'll turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
yeah.
so we'll just move on to a little bit of housekeeping here. But hey, if you have been enjoying the podcast or if you're here for the first time, we would appreciate if you could give back a little. That's what Patreon is for. So you could head over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/Zach Cherry, ZACKCHERRY. And it's just a great community space. And, with that, you can join us during these live stream recordings that we do for every podcast episode. As you can see, the feed in the middle, everyone's here for the exciting Halloween marathon we've got going on for the next 2 months. So that's something fun that you can do. Also, we have the Patreon's Choice episode that we run once a month, which we turn it over to you, and you get to nominate the movie that you think that we should talk about, and then you vote on it. And then we have no choice, If it could randomly, I had someone ask me, it was Craig, I forget what the title was, but it wasn't horror. And it's just like, am I allowed to nominate this? I'm like, absolutely. But I can't
Hmm.
guarantee that people are going to want to vote for that. But you never
Yeah.
know. You never know. I mean, like, we could be talking about what was the one with oh, Madam Web.
Oh. Oh. I could talk about
If
that
you,
one.
I've not seen it. I'm not encouraging anyone, but I'm just saying. I mean, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, if everyone wanted to vote on that
Old,
old
just
Yeller.
old Yeller, yeah, old. Oh, just I was gonna say like old Disney little girl,
Yeah.
anything with
Do
Haley
you
Mills in it. Yeah,
do
make
you
us watch
remember
that.
the oh my gosh, there was like a whole series of movies. It was very 70s, like it was from the 70s, and it was like a family that left the city to like start life in the mountains, and there was like four of them, and they were all blonde. Maybe the wife was brunette, but like they're the son had allergies or something, and then they moved to the country and they lived in a cabin and they were just roughing it. And there'd be like all sorts of threats, whether it was the elements or like bears that would come in or whatever. And
Oh
it was
wow.
really like saccharine
Hmm.
family fun. And there was like a whole bunch of them. And I remember my stepdad like got them and like was like seriously wanted us to watch as a family. My sister was visiting and we were just laughing at it, like my mom too, and my stepdad was just like not like he was offended that we
Oh.
weren't like yeah. And
Oh, that you
I'm
weren't all
I'm
moved.
I'm oversharing here, but anyway, we could talk about that. Um, it
And
might have
how do
like
you feel about that, Zach?
Mountain Family Robinson, or it might have been
Swiss
something
Family
like.
Robinson.
It
Yeah.
wasn't the Swiss Family though. It
Okay,
was
but it
like,
was a
but
Mountain Family
it was
Robinson.
very
Okay.
yeah, like
Carbon copy.
the hunky dad.
Okay.
Like it could have been like Helmet Burger or something, like one. It wasn't.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So getting back to Patreon, you can nominate a movie
Anything.
that you anything, and we will talk about it if it is voted for. There's also tons of other perks and benefits that you get from being a Patreon supporter, including video calls from me every month. So something that you might
Hey.
want to check out. But we also shout out our top tier supporters. So I do want to say thank you to some people here. So to the Michael Myers tier supporters, we got Kyle Beard. Hello. Ali Hamoosh. How's it going? Shane Allingham, Tim McKay, Stephanie Starbright, Horror Slut 95, Traj 125, Austin Hall, Cara Day, Michael Boswell. And then for Ghostface supporters, we got Eric Champney, Sam Levy, Daniel Saturn, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, and Craig Lynn. Love you guys. Thank you so
Yay.
much. And so many of you have been here for quite a while. So thanks for still being here. Means a lot.
Ages.
Ages.
Mercy alive.
as, as I Clutch my pearls. Do you have a premise for Halloween?
Yeah, just in case somebody hasn't seen this movie, but don't listen to the pod if you haven't. Go watch the movie and then, go Plex, ads,
Yeah.
free. Okay.
Yeah.
And then come back.
Yeah.
Or invest in physical media and then come back.
You should.
So many steelbooks, so many steelbooks. Anyway, 15 years after murdering his older sister in their hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital, somehow 17 years older, only to kill again on Halloween.
The
Huh?
night he came home. We're gendering evil?
You can go more gravelly than that, even like the night.
The night.
Can you do it?
Can I try what? Do you want me to
No,
chucky
just
it?
yeah, just drop it like lower in your voice, like the
Oh no,
night
no.
he came home.
The
You can't do that?
night. And then the one for Halloween 2 is like more of the night he came home. And then Season of the Witch, the night no one came home. Something like that, right?
I'm a fan, Zach.
A fan. A fan.
A fan.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's just like one thing. Like, I had forgotten, I guess. It's not something that often gets, that I feel often gets discussed when people talk about this movie, but it's scripted that, uh, I mean, even the timeline, it opens like Halloween night 1963, yes? And then 15 years
Hmm.
later is 1978 when
Yeah.
the movie proper takes
October
place.
30th. Yeah.
Yet he was 6 years old when he murdered Judith, and now he's 23 in 1978. How did that happen?
No, I believe that is a mistake in the credits. So he would be
Oh,
21.
okay.
Yeah, that's been addressed because it says like Michael Myers at 23 or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
he was
they
born in
could,
57,
right.
so by mathematics, like that would make
Yeah.
him 21. He is
So,
4 years older than Laurie. I was trying to remember what is said in the car. I know we're talking about Halloween 2 next time, but it's just like 2 years after when Marion goes into the whole thing and she's just like
yeah.
explaining it in great detail.
Well,
Um,
to bring it back to this movie, like I
yeah.
was watching because the 4K Blu-ray combo that I have has the three discs. One of the discs has the television presentation, the cut, the
Mm.
extended Halloween edition, which doesn't feel. We'll talk about that, but anyway, they
Well, let's talk
point
about
out.
it now.
Okay, they point
Yeah.
out in that first additional scene, which happens right after Judith's murder, that Dr. Loomis has been with him at that point. They don't give an indicator, a time indicator, before the scene starts, but he just says he's been with him for 6 months every day, for 4 hours every day for six
Yeah.
months. That's how much time he had spent with Michael. But again, the language surrounding it makes me think like, okay, so does that mean you first started seeing him 6 months ago, or you just started seeing him every day 6 months ago, and that for a year and a half before that? Or was he just kind of passed off from doctor to doctor before you happened to come along?
Yeah.
And but also because he was credited as being 23 years old, I was like, so has he been there for 2 years? I don't know, the math.
Yeah.
I was just trying to do the math in my head and I couldn't figure it out.
I'm just like totally gonna plug my main YouTube channel. I did a video. This is the focus here. The Halloween timeline simplified. Go check it out. It is a
Yay!
complete explanation of all five different continuities of this franchise,
I
just to
haven't
make
seen that
sense
one
of.
yet.
Yeah, it took a minute to do.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a very complex. I just think of that meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny, where he's like the
Yes,
wall and he's just like trying to
the red
explain
yarn. Yeah.
the Halloween franchise to everybody. But
And in all
the
honesty, every franchise, Friday the
yeah.
13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they all
Yeah.
take time jumps and don't make sense. Yeah.
But I think that this one, I would say that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably the most convoluted just for how many start stops it is. But yeah, the television version of this, because that was actually made uh or those extra scenes were filmed in 1981,
Right.
like shortly before they started work on Halloween 2.
And you can tell.
And yeah, I mean, but there's not a whole lot because I guess the idea was that, they wanted to show it on TV, and just
Mhm.
because the film is like 91 minutes, they just needed to pad it a little bit so they can fit it into that window with like enough commercials and stuff, which
Sure.
that's weird because in this day and age, they'd just be like, well, let's just get more commercials.
Yeah,
They would probably have to
100%.
cut more out of the movie at this
That's
point
what they do. Yeah,
to fit it in.
100%.
But yeah, most of it is like that stuff with like Loomis, and then like the nurses when we see sister written on the door when he escapes, and all that. And I think they had another actor cast as Michael, like a young boy Michael, not like the
Yes,
one from the opening of this movie, but another
right,
one who was not the same actor that we see in Halloween 2 and like the flashbacks when she
right.
goes to it. So there's I'll add that to the plethora of actors who've played Michael Myers over the years. But the one that I always remember the most fondly is inside Laurie's house.
Yeah,
And Jamie Lee Curtis is like wearing a towel to disguise the
yeah,
fact that she doesn't have the same hair.
yeah.
And Linda comes over, and I guess she's been being stalked by Michael, and she's just like, I don't know if it was Devon Graham, but it was like somebody. And then Annie calls, and she's wanting to borrow the blouse, and
Right.
Linda's like, I wanted that anyway. But it's a lot of bullshit. But what's really neat about that is that house, that interior,
Yeah.
is the Nightmare on Elm Street house.
What? I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Oh my
So
God.
yeah, the actual because in Nightmare on Elm Street, like the exterior is the exterior. What we see on the inside is a different location.
Sure.
But what we see in the television scenes in Laurie's
Oh
house,
my God.
in that scene, because Laurie goes home in the, when she's like, I thought obscene chewing or whatever that scene
Right.
was. But yeah, that all of that is Nancy Thompson's house. I get, well, like 3 years before Nancy Thompson existed. So
Wow.
it's really cool that that just happened that way.
Yeah, I also love the fact that again, like watching, because yeah, there's that scene which I think is my favorite too, just because
Mhm.
also the actresses are all just a little different, like they all just look like it obviously was shot like a couple years later,
Mhm.
and they just their looks just evolved, like but they're still playing these girls who like were just like walking around and talking
Yeah.
shit like just a few minutes ago, and then I'm just kind of like, no, it's the 80s now, I can totally
Yeah.
tell. But it actually
Also,
it makes it easier to join it together with the
yeah.
second movie, I guess,
I mean, it's not really needed, but also the in that scene, because when Annie calls and then we see her presumably in her house in her bedroom, that's
Mhm.
actually upstairs and just like in that house. So that is, I believe, Nancy's room, and you can kind of tell from because I
Wow.
don't. They might have. I think that they did film in A Nightmare on Elm Street, like all the stuff in like Nancy's bedroom is from the house because they would have
Right,
had to because she's looking across the street.
right.
It's just the downstairs that's different. But in
Okay.
that version, so Annie is laying on the bed, like, and she's looking through all her clothes. She's like, yuck, and
Yeah.
That's Nancy's bedroom.
That's fun. Because yeah, no,
Yeah,
the only thing is like it's fun to kind of find out about the blouse, like how, watch Linda like promise that she's not going to spill anything on it or rip it or anything like that. And all of that happens to that poor
yeah,
blouse later.
yeah.
And, but,
Would have been like hilarious if like when Laurie's discovering the bodies and the cupboard opens and Linda's
my
there like dead, like,
blouse!
ah, my blouse.
That would have been really hilarious and sad.
I
But
mean, just if it was like an outtake that could have lived on.
if they had the presence of mind to know, okay, in a couple
Yeah,
of years, we're going to provide an extra
yeah,
scene that offers. Because that's the only thing about that scene and about the other ones is that even though, like, I like them, I don't hate that they exist or anything, but I do feel while I'm sitting through them, because I did it today. Um, they do because I watched them in the context. I wanted to see what is it like to drift from like one scene to the
yeah.
next with their placement in the movie, and I think all three of them are pretty top heavy. They're all in the first what like half hour or so of the film,
Hmm.
They do seem to kind of like stop the movie in its tracks. Like there are things I like about the first one where we get to see Loomis actually arguing with, whatever authority figures are sitting there telling him like, no, maybe you need to think about not being with Michael anymore, and this is going to happen whether you say so or not. We read your notes, but there's nothing in fact, that it makes your argument make sense and all that kind of thing. And it's all stuff that's alluded to. Like we definitely get that watching the theatrical release. It doesn't really
Yeah.
add anything. I guess the thing that I liked the best about it was whoever chose that particular venue to set that first included scene. All the tables are orange, so it's just like Halloween. I don't know. That's my favorite thing, and also the fact that we do get to see him interact with the Michael and just kind of like he's being told like Michael's catatonic. He's of no danger to anyone. He's the most
Yeah.
dangerous child I've seen in blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Then he goes over and says, They believe you, Michael. I don't," and
It's
all
like
that stuff.
you may have fooled them,
You may have fooled them, but
but not
not
me. Yeah.
me. And I love that. But
Yeah,
and then of
that's a good
course,
inclusion.
and the other one is the discovery of like his room
Yeah,
that's
the
just like
sister
torn up,
and
and they're going,
and
and again, they're kind
the nurse seems she's just so bereft. She's just like, oh, it's cleaning this up is gonna take all day.
yeah,
Like that's sort of the attitude.
right. And also, but also wringing her hands, but also going like, "It's not my fault. I wasn't even here. I don't know what went on." And it's just like
Was
those three
anyone even
scenes.
working that night? Just
But even the way they're paced, like the actors have obviously been told, just take your time. We
yeah,
need to fill up some space. We need this to, we can always edit it down, but just breathe, inhale, exhale,
yeah.
make a decision before you speak, do whatever you have to. And but it really did make me kind of like realize the pacing of the OG theatrical release is really kind of tight, you
Well,
know?
yeah. Like I was gonna say that I have this movie committed to memory.
Yeah.
Like not like for most of the dialogue. Like I could absolutely recite like all when they're walking home, and starting with
Mm.
the Linda, Lori, why didn't you wait for me? Like all the way up to I hate a guy with a car and no sense of humor. Like all that.
Yeah. No, oh
Yeah.
God. It's so much fun watching them. Like
Yeah.
God bless Deborah Hill for writing those scenes. Oh my God. And God bless the casting director for casting all three of them. But
Yeah.
I it's interesting because I feel I didn't watch it alone this time. My mom wanted to watch. I'm like, yeah, let's go sit down, let's watch.
Hmm.
Because I love when she wants to watch horror, and she was just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like Halloween season. I'll watch a scary movie, and she knows she's not that scared. But then it's just so much fun watching her forget all the scares and just go, like over and over again. Like when Michael, at things that like people don't usually gasp at, like when Michael flies onto the hood, not the hood, but the what do they call it? The bonnet of the car that Loomis and
Yeah.
Marion are driving into. I guess my mom forgot that that was a shot, and I could never forget. But and she went, ah! And I'm like, oh, mom. She did that like 16 times during the movie,
Hmm.
just kept forgetting things. And um, it was just, it was nice to experience it with someone doesn't, who doesn't know the scares that are coming. And yeah, but even that's the
Hmm.
thing is like, that's why this is indelibly a classic in my mind, because I do feel like I know it the way you said, like kind of like backwards and forwards. I may not know every single line of dialogue at any given moment, but I know most of it. I can get the key phrases
Yeah.
and laugh, but it doesn't lose anything for me. And I can go in a nostalgic direction, like the first time I saw it, and I can't remember if I've told the story on this pod about my first time seeing
Hmm.
this movie, but I remember I was in third grade. I had just seen like Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was getting into horror, slasher horror. My mom said like, "You want to watch a movie that's like Freddy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, we got Halloween." I'm like, "What's that?" And she, because I didn't know anything. I knew nothing. I didn't know who Michael Myers was. I had no frame of reference. So she's just kind of like, it's a guy. He's like Freddy. Like he kills teenagers and stuff like that. You'll like it. I'm like, okay. So I put it on and immediately heard the first chords of the theme during the opening credits, and I was like, "Fuck! What? what is this? It was very unsettling. I'm watching the jack-o'-lantern, a thing that throughout my life had always just been kind of like an image of celebratory Halloween fun, and all of a sudden there's something nefarious attached to it. There's, like it's zooming in, like something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm scared. This is good. Okay,
How
let's keep
does the
watching.
the
Eh.
little nursery rhyme go? That like right
Oh,
after that.
I don't see that.
Black
I don't
cats and
remember.
goblins and something and ghosts. You may
I'm
think
old.
they scare us, you're probably right. Oh, black cats and goblins on
Halloween night.
Halloween
Trick or
night. Trick or
treat!
treat!
That's all I know. See, that's before my time. But
Yeah.
I do remember my generation is the one that followed on the heels of that because later on when the trick-or-treaters are going, trick or treat, give me something good to eat, trick or and they just keep saying it over and over again. By the time I was on the scene, it was trick or
Yeah.
treat, smell my feet, give me something good
Something
to
good to
eat.
eat.
If you
Yeah.
don't, I don't care. I'll pull down your underwear. That was what we would chant.
Ah.
I don't know
Probably
why.
don't they probably don't chant that anymore. Um
Probably not.
they there's like a lot of like stuff because there's even the when they're when we're introduced to Linda and we can hear her in the background like we're from Haddonfield, couldn't be prouder. If you can't hear us now, we'll say it a little louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons.
Yeah.
But like that's like
Oh, there's so
it's
much the songs and it like just like I
oh
mean, who could I'm gonna be like a late night infomercial. Like, who could forget such classics as "I wish I had you all
all alone,
alone,
just
just
the
the
two
two
of
of
us. That
us."
was another thing I loved in
Oh,
that.
Paul, I gave you all.
No keys, but please.
Do, do, do,
I can't whistle,
do.
but yeah.
Do, do, do. Yeah. And those were all like and
Yeah,
because I mean like John Carpenter is obviously a musician and
yeah.
composer, so he just like made all that up on the spot. I think that even the scene where Annie is pulling up when she's picking up Lori when she's sitting on the stoop with the pumpkin and
Uh,
they get in the car and there's like that shoe bop music playing like that. I think that was John
right.
Carpenter as well or his band.
Oh,
Shoo
that's
bop ba
cool.
da 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 ba da 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 and then
Yeah.
it's don't fear the reaper.
Yes, no, so
Yeah.
much fun. I mean, that now, Don't Fear the Reaper's in like every slasher movie,
It's
but
everywhere.
it's become a rite of passage
They
for
just
some
sing
horror
it in like
filmmakers.
Chucky, like
Yeah.
or like playing it on the piano.
At least when Wes put it in Scream, like he did a cover, like a
Yeah.
different version of
Yeah, it
it.
was a
But
more updated
yeah,
90
like
much more 90s version.
very 90s. But
Yeah.
no, oh, but anyway, so I remember in my initial viewing, I remember being kind of scared and excited about it. And I think the setting, the fact that it was like, just kind of like in a domestic setting, also the fact that I live in LA, like it was shot in Pasadena, not too far from me.
Mhm.
So our streets kind of look like that. And I remember so it didn't look weird to me that it was autumn and that everything was green, because that's what it's like out here. But I just remember something about it felt like that after school feeling. It felt like that, t the time of day always feels accurate, like in this movie, with the exception probably of like Lori and Annie in their car, where it goes from like harsh, broad daylight while they're, driving by Sheriff Brackett, like after the
Yeah.
break-in at the hardware store. Then it's like waning daylight when we learn about Ben Tramer. Then by the time they reach the kids' homes to do their babysitting, it is pitch black night.
It's
That's the
very, I
only.
mean, I assume that they were just driving, like Annie's like, all right, let's just drive around and get high before we have to go
Oh my God,
drop
I
off.
never
Because I
thought
mean,
about that. Yeah.
it's Haddonfield. It's a tiny
Yeah.
little s- hamlet, and
A
uh,
sleepy hollow, if you will.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't take that long to do that. But also, it makes me think of the movie Four Flies on Grey Velvet. There's a scene in which a character is sitting in a park
Mhm.
and there's all these people around and like children playing and couples canoodling
Mm.
and suddenly she just like looks and they disappear. It's actually like very Skinamarink if anyone has seen that how just like the
Ooh.
windows and stuff disappear and So it's like just one by one, people are just vanishing, and then
Hmm.
suddenly it goes from day to night. So it's
Yeah.
just like a very stylistic choice. So I think that maybe
Right.
that's, I mean, obviously John Carpenter was trying to do it in a more naturalistic way, but
Hmm.
same kind of feeling. They're just
I
like,
like
and
your
now it's
headcanon
night.
though. I
Yeah.
like your headcanon though. It makes sense to me. Like, okay, we I'm not ready to go over there and talk to the Wallaces. Can we just keep
Yeah.
driving?
It's that, but
Like-
it does feel very like out of, I mean, I guess it's always felt out of character for Lori to be partaking. But I can see a scenario where Annie would be like, "No, we're not going yet. You just got to sit here and listen to me talk about myself for the next hour."
And I want to tease you about the guys you like. So you
Yeah.
do think about
Bench
things like
Raider.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm not. But I love. But I mean, I don't know. With Lori, that's the thing is that I wasn't out of character because also like there is something that's like very kind of like meek about her introduction. And I'm not saying she's a meek person. I'm just saying there is a sliver of that character that I mean it's the same one like in that moment right before when Annie's just telling her like about like the dance. So you do think about things like that, Lori, and Lori's just sitting there just kind of like hmm. And she's like, you could still ask someone. You could, I couldn't. Like, we're setting up this girl who's going to like go toe to toe with the darkest, figure she's ever encountered in her life in just a few hours, and she's daunted at the prospect of talking
Mhm.
to another teenager. And I don't know, maybe something about that suggests to me that like there's a suggestibility of just kind of like you don't do anything. You may as well smoke a little weed. No one's gonna find out. And also, I don't know, I kind of like that Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, carries it over in tiny moments, just little things, little details, like the way she can't stop twirling her hair around her finger when she's sitting
Mhm.
there talking to Tommy. It's just kind of like, well, when are we gonna carve the jack o' lantern? We're gonna, or no, when are we gonna finish the movie? After we're gonna do that, and then we're
After the
gonna do the jack
movie.
o' lantern after the movie, and then what about my comics after the jack o' lantern?
I love when Lindsay's like, "Let's make more popcorn." No, you've had enough.
But Lindsay's easy. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, let's finish watching the movie. Hum dee dum
Okay.
dee dum
Oh,
dee dum.
Lindsay's so easy. Um,
She, of course, I didn't forget it, but I don't know,
yeah.
something about it just came across to me. Her wonderful, when Tommy's trying to scare her and he hides behind the curtain, he's like, Lindsay. She just stands up, where are you? Like,
It's very Anna Faris and Scary Movie. She should have turned her and just like, "You're behind the curtain. I can see your
I can
feet."
see your feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was something just kind of like, well, I know you're trying to scare me, but I just want to. I just came over here because I got a little crush on you because Annie is like queen matchmaker, with Lori and Ben Tramer and you and me. But
Let's talk about Annie.
yeah, let's talk.
It's
Let's
like
do it.
so.
Let's talk about
Oh my
Annie.
God. Love her, firstly. I love
Yes.
how she's just so hard done by everything in life. It's just like she walks into the movie and it's just like, ugh. And it's just like, what? Okay, Annie, who's pissing you off now? It's like what's the line in Ferris Bueller's Day Off where Jeannie goes
Oh.
to the principal's office and Edie McClurg's like, "Who's bothering you today, Jeannie?"
Oh my
What's
God.
the
Yeah.
matter? What's the matter, Annie? You're not smiling. I'm never smiling again. Paul dragged me into the boys' locker room. Like it's just everything. It's just like the worst day of her life all the
Yeah.
time. I feel like Michael Myers did her a favor because like she is just miserable.
Well, because even when she's like, here, she wants, I mean, I don't, yeah, it's almost debilitating, self-debilitating, because like when
Yeah.
she's on the phone with Paul in the kitchen and she's finding out like, oh, like
Oh,
you know,
hi, Paul.
yeah, right. But then she finds out like, oh my God, fantastic. Why did I think of leaving? It's just kind of like, yeah, and then we can do something. Whatever he says, she's like, oh, shut up, jerk. That's all you
I got
ever
a
think
shirt. I got a
about.
shirt
I got
on.
a
That's all.
shirt on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, he's like, it's all you ever think about. And he's just like, I think it's all you ever think about. She's like, that's not true. I think about lots of things. Now, why don't you get over here and we can stop talking about them and down to business of doing them.
Which
However
is
she
very
says.
contradictory.
I know. It's like you were
Um,
just criticizing him, but
um,
she changes her mind a lot. I think.
yeah. Do you, also, uh, Paul, the voice
Yeah,
of Paul, the John Carpenter.
yeah,
Yeah, just for anyone who
just
didn't know.
creepy.
Obviously. Um, I love how like Lindsay, like he calls and it's just like, just go put her on the phone. Okay, she hangs up the phone and then
What?
immediately
Oh,
goes out and just like, Paul called and like, no, Paul asked you to like set the phone down and go get her to put her on the phone.
yeah.
Like,
But but I think like Lindsay's just figuring like this bitch is doing me no favors. Like here she's
yeah,
coming over. She's probably complaining all the way to the kitchen about making the popcorn in the first
bless
place. All I want
her.
to do is sit there. One thing I did feel like I was watching Lindsay this time. I was just like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm just give me the horror movie, sit me down in front of it. That actually was me. I would
Yeah,
sit there and I'm old enough that like the movies that were on television were still the old black and white movies. So I remember
yeah.
that's how I saw like all those old Universal classics and then like all those 1950s homogenized space-esque, kind of like
Mm.
film ones as well, like Robot Monster. And anyway, I just remember Brain That Wouldn't Die and all those things. Could be
Uh,
anything at any given time. Yeah.
Craig brought the little nursery rhyme up for us. So, black
Oh,
cats and goblins, and here I'll do it the way that
yeah,
Lindsay
do
did
it,
it.
do it.
Black cats and goblins and broomsticks and ghosts, covens of witches with all of their hosts. You may think they scare me, you're probably right. Black cats and goblins on Halloween night. T or T.
Trick or treat.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cute.
there we go.
Oh, and
Thank you,
is
Craig.
Annie the 70s version of Scout Taylor Compton's Laurie Strode, asks Adrian.
How
What?
so? Yeah.
How? Oh, I guess I don't know. Is Scout Taylor Compton's Laurie Strode always complaining? I just
I
think
don't
about the
know. The
oh, oh, oh,
bagel.
oh. Yeah, I just
Well,
think about the
okay. Well, I
bagel.
remember. Well, in the Rob Zombie version, because they're just like, I set you up with Ben Tramer, and
Right.
and she's like, oh my God, I need a boyfriend. He
Uh,
needs to call me, and they're just like have this little moment. It's just like, oh my God,
right.
I don't know what the fuck that was. But in this version, it always like I just find it so funny that Annie does what she does, like sets up this whole thing, and Lori's just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you didn't." And then when she comes over to draw, like, not only has she done this to her, like embarrassed her, but then she's like, "Here's this girl that I'm getting paid to watch. You're gonna watch her so I can go hook up with my boyfriend." And
Yes.
Lori's just like, look, I want you to call Ben Tramer and blah, blah. It's like, no, I can't. He went out and drinking with Mike Godfrey and he won't be
Right.
back until later. See, I remember every name and every line.
Every
And
Annie line for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
Um, and then she says, "Oh, if you watch Lindsay, I'll consider
Yeah.
calling him in the morning." It's just like, okay, and Lori's like, deal. Like she just easily accepts that. I would have been, I mean, like, I'm not Laurie Strode, obviously, but I've been like, bitch, you get on that phone and you tell him no right now, and I'm not watching this kid. You can take her with. Like, but it's like, you do this favor for me after I've already fucked you over. You do this favor for me, and I'll maybe I'll amend this faux pas that you've become enmeshed in if you do me this
Oh.
favor. And then Lori's like, old Girl Scout comes through again. Like
Yeah.
she's
It's Lori's
yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? Like her capacity for embarrassment exceeds any kind of like task that may be staring her in the face.
Yeah.
And I think she knows Lindsay's easy. It's like, okay, sure. Lindsay's just gonna sit on the couch and keep Tommy company and I'll just do the dishes and I'll be able to do everything I did with Tommy, I'll be able to do with Lindsay. She's just gonna roll with the punches and be real
Yeah.
cool about it. I think that's what she's thinking. And the fact that like it still breaks my heart though every time I see her say like I want you to call Ben Tramer and tell him you were just kidding, okay? I'm just like, why? You do like him. You wanted it. It's better if he knows you. Oh, Lori, come out of the closet. Just come on. Just a boy can know you like him, girl. Come on.
Yeah.
But
What's Lori's sign?
I don't. Immediately I went to Gemini, but I don't know. What do you think?
Gemini for
Well, just
Lori?
because of duality, because of who we know, any version of her that she becomes is very kind of
Geminis are like
polar.
talkers. They're jokesters. They're very outgoing. That
But
just
there's
doesn't fit.
duality.
But every sign has duality.
Okay, well then who is she?
Never mind. Amethyst is saying Aquarius.
And is that correct to
I
you? What
don't
do you
know.
think?
I automatically go to Virgo.
I don't think
Of
her
course you would. Yeah.
timidity? I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, we're dutiful. We like to get things done and, you know, kind of like cross things off the checklist and everything. But I don't know. I feel like a Virgo would never drop the knife twice. And that brings me to a next point, because I actually kind of have, I'm glad that we're having
Yeah.
this discussion right now, because
Yeah.
I don't know, again, maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know if it's a hot take, but
Okay.
because I know I wouldn't and couldn't ever take anything away from Jamie Lee Curtis or Laurie Strode as a character. I know what she means to the fandom. I know what she means to the franchise. I know what she means to just horror cinema, just history of cinema in general.
Yeah.
So I can't take any of that away from her. That said, I always go back to that exchange between Devin Evans and Jake in season one of Chucky.
Hmm.
And they're talking, I think it was on Halloween night, wasn't it? When they were comparing notes about who their favorite final girl was. And Jake says, like, oh, hands down, Laurie Strode. She is, the be all end all kind of thing. That, like
Hmm.
she's the epitomal, she's it, she's everything. And I was just kind of like, I disagree. Um, and I would never tell anybody who, if anybody, like is watching or anybody in the feed, if she's your number one, good for you. I'm really,
Yeah.
really happy that you have her. Then so much of her. She's in so many movies now.
Hmm.
So you can just kind of pick whatever one you want. That said, uh, I, 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 I watch the movie and I get upset because she's a final girl and categorized as a final girl, and yet she is saved at the end of the movie. I I
Hmm.
I can't say that I'm convinced she would have come out on top had Loomis not intervened and taken those shots, because granted she pulled Michael's mask off so temporarily he stopped strangling her,
Hmm.
and so maybe she could have learned that that's his Achilles heel, that he needs to be masked while he's killing her, and so she could have just kept fussing with it. But I don't know. I worry about her ability to survive to the end of the movie if someone else
Hmm.
didn't come in and intervene, and that makes it kind of an antithetical final girl for me.
Yeah. I think like where Lori's strengths lie are more of just like her observational skills.
Mm,
I think that she's a lot more critical and discerning of her surroundings and the environment where, her friends are not.
right.
They're more preoccupied with other things and distracted by those. I mean, like for all intents and purposes, like Annie is like all of the red flags are there, and Annie's just like, when the pot, the
Yes.
planted planter or whatever knocks over, and she kind of looks over and she's like momentarily like distressed about that, and she's like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Hmm.
Like Lori, like that's the kind of stuff that would be a red flag with Lori. Now the thing is, like, there's some contradictory circumstances here because she doesn't take Tommy seriously when Tommy is like, like the boogeyman is outside,
Yeah.
or just like is some, she's just sort of like, you dumb kid, go watch TV. Um, but on top of that, Lori is also like, and I guess this is also a little contradictory, but I mean, she's very protective
Hmm.
of her charge and Annie's, because now she's got this other kid that she's
Yeah.
saddled with. But she kind of puts them first.
Yeah.
And I mean, like those are traits that, would be considered like very heroic and admirable. However, I mean, she does leave them. She leaves the house and goes across the street, which is kind of dumb, dumb, dumb. But the the reason why, I mean, like this is question comes up all the time on like the socials of just like what is like the Mount Rushmore of the final girls.
Mm.
And I would never include Laurie Strode on that mountain face because
Yeah.
firstly, Laurie Strode is never like, yes, you said that she's played the role like so many times. Like
Yeah.
I mean, of all the movies, I think the only ones that Laurie doesn't exist in is three, four, five, six. Otherwise, like she's in all of the, I mean, and then a different Laurie in the Rob Zombie ones. But I would argue that the Laurie that we see in the H2O Resurrection is different than like she is, and it's not just
Mm.
like timeline differences, it's personality wise, like it's a completely different characterization. And I mean, it's frustrating because I see, and we've talked about these in the other podcasts. It's just like the trauma that Laurie went through, like in this movie solely, that exists as that's all that happened in the 40-year later timeline.
Yeah.
Like she is just so far off the like reality that that version of her, like comparative to like the H2O version, which is like a little bit more like even keeled. She still has her issues and like and alcoholism, but she experienced so much more because we're like lumping in the first two nights. So
Sure.
it's really hard for me to pick one version. And even like Laurie in Halloween 2, following this, it's like it's
Oh.
a completely different take. It's the same character, but she is like paralyzed
Hmm.
by the events that have happened in this movie. That she's not proactive. She's reactive. She's like
Hmm.
good at like escaping scenarios and that. But I would never consider her to be a Mount Rushmore material. Like like Sydney, absolutely. Nancy,
Mm.
um, Ripley, and just because I have a special place for her, Ginny from Friday the 13th Part Two. Those would probably be mine.
Sure. I
Yeah.
love what Amethyst put it this way. Lori crawled so Nancy could run and Sydney could fly. And then Grant added stick so Alice could walk in there between Lori and Nancy. So Alice could ask, "What is going on?" says
I mean,
Amethyst.
even like Alice, like it did more than Laurie.
Yeah. And but see
Yeah.
this is the only thing that keeps me from wholeheartedly endorsing her as like one of my legion, like one of my like even my top three or top five. I think Final Girls is the fact that she was predated. I mean, because we discussed it on our Black Christmas discussion about how and it's pretty common knowledge now, but that John Carpenter spoke to the filmmaker of Black Christmas and says, "I love your movie. What would you do if you could do it?" And he says, "Well, I'd wait a year and have the killer come back on Halloween and kill a bunch of young girls again, you know. But I'm not going to make that movie." John Carpenter's just like, I will," and, um, and luckily it worked out.
Yeah.
But and it's not a sequel to Black Christmas, but it's kind of like a spiritual what's the word? I'm like next chapter, like yeah, progression from Black
Yeah.
Christmas. But I think about Jessie and the way we covered her, and I won't revisit all of that, but I'll just say like an incredibly progressive character with a lot of inner strength, who, granted, without spoiling the end, just said, let's just say she kills when she's threatened
Mm.
and does the best she can. And I feel like I'd probably put more, if I had like a who's going to survive another ordeal against Jess versus Laurie Strode, I'd put my money on Jess, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, well, Jess is more of like comparative to like maybe the H2O version of Laurie Strode, just like based on the
Mm,
situational similarity. But I think that even like Laurie Strode, like the H2O version of Laurie Strode is my version of Laurie Strode that I
mm, mm,
that I would go to because she is the one that's just like she makes the decision. She breaks the gate. She goes back in with the axe and screams Michael and like
yeah.
that's just such a powerful moment. So I mean, but yeah, like the it's true. She did crawl so these others could walk. Like we wouldn't get to this point. We wouldn't, be where we're at now where there's like the Sam Carpenters who are not throwing down the knives. They're just like taking them and stabbing the killer
Repeatedly.
20 plus times to make sure like okay, they're actually dead.
Yeah.
Um because yeah, Laurie throws the knife down twice and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, come on.
The first one I
Um
understand, like Jamie Lee
yeah.
Curtis made the case, and there should be a close-up shot. If there's a criticism for this movie, I feel it every time. I'm like, oh, I would have loved just a close-up of her, just disgust at looking at the blood of her friends on the knife as she passes it from one side of herself to the other after peering over the sofa, and just thinks, oh, the blood, the gore of my friends. I don't want anything to do with it, kind of thing. Like even that I can kind of get
Mhm.
on board with, but from the shot, the way it's staged, which is a beautiful shot, but it does just
Mhm.
kind of look like I don't need that anymore.
Mhm.
But I mean, there are a lot of things. That
Well,
doesn't
she
mean that I
throws it down
dislike.
like it's like hot or something,
Yeah,
like it
like
just like
ew,
overheated, like oh,
or
ow,
just
it
like a,
burns.
it's like a no. And then even as a
Yeah.
kid, I remember when I did revisit. Well, I was a teen when I got to that
Mhm.
point in the movie because I got too scared after the Bob in the kitchen scene, the infamous like head tilt on display for the first time for Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That was when I had to turn the movie off as a kid and
Yeah.
turn every light. It was dark by then. I turned every light in the house on, and my mom came out and she was like, "Why are all the lights on?" Knowing exactly why, but she knows her kid. But, and I didn't watch it again for years until I was a teenager and I was getting, kind of back into slash. And I think I watched it with my sister, who had no exposure to it, and I was like, "Oh, it's scary," and she got scared, and I was less so. But it's still kind of riding the wave and
Yeah.
enjoying seeing how it ended. And then I was so excited to find out there was a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the first exposure I had was, I think like when H2O came out.
Mm,
Or like it was Scream, because Scream,
yeah.
I had watched, and obviously they're watching the scene of her walking over from the house in that movie. But
Yeah.
the first one I had officially seen was Halloween 6, and I've told this story because I accidentally rented it because there was no numerical uh, value on Halloween. Like it's Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers, and it was like a local mom and pa, like it was a convenience store where they had video rentals,
Hmm.
and I just like, is this the first Halloween? And they were like foreigners and they just didn't know or care. They're like, yeah, what a, just just rent it already. And
No.
I remember like watching it and just being like, this is so confused. Like Halloween 6 is the most confusing of like the earlier, probably all of them actually.
Yeah,
Um,
especially if you have no
and
context. Even with context,
unless
it's
yeah,
confusing.
unless maybe like it was Halloween 3, but I mean like that the argument there is like it's not Michael at all. Like this in terms
Right.
of like the Michael stories. Um, but I had realized I'm like, oh, this isn't Halloween original. This is Halloween 2 because I assumed it was the
Oh,
second one at that point. I had no idea. I had no idea, and I eventually found I don't remember if it was that same location and it just
oh,
wasn't there on that date or whatever, but found it, watched it, was obsessed with it, and I pretty much rented it like not every weekend, but like, you know, at least once a month. And I
mm.
would like have like friends come over for the weekend and be like, I rented Halloween, and they'd be like, again.
Oh my
Yeah. Um,
God.
but and then they would watch it with me and
Sure.
start making fun of like the dialogue and stuff like that, start having fun with it. So,
Yeah.
it was a regular staple. I remember my friend Danny at the time, and he'd always like make fun of the way that Lori, when she goes across the street, she's like, Bob, Andy, Linda, Paul, Bob.
You'll be sorry. Um,
All right, you meatheads.
yeah,
Jokes o
right.
jokes over, you meatheads.
Chucky as Lori.
All right. Well, okay. We all know that if I had to assign
Yes.
a character to Chucky, it would be Linda.
Yeah.
Just for the don't touch the blouse, idiot. Expensive.
Chucky, I don't think you have enough to do tomorrow.
Totally. The only reason she babysits is to have a place to shit. And he would finish the whole line.
Yeah.
She has a place for that.
But
Oh, I forgot my chemistry book.
Who cares? I
Yeah,
always
Tiffany.
forget my books. My math book, my French book, my Spanish book, my history book. I mean, who needs books anyway? I always forget all my books. It doesn't matter if you have your books or not, Rory. Hey,
That
Yeah.
isn't that Devon Graham? I think he's kind of cute.
I don't think so.
Oh, which brings me to that emphasizes the point you were making about Lori being vigilant. The fact that like she's the one who isn't like checking out the guy who's creepily like driving past her on the way home, and she's also not calling him out, like going, "Hey, jerk, speed, kill!" Like, she's just, yeah. There's something about her. I remember even as a kid responding to her reaction to everything. I was just kind of like, well, she's the one I'd be, because that's just stupid. You don't go shouting at strangers, and you don't go, oh, because I remember maybe just by comparison, because even though Tommy Doyle got and always gets my sympathy when he falls on his pumpkin, that after Lonnie
Yeah,
and the
we
gang
get
push him.
candy.
Yeah, I love that when you get candy. And then I'll just like, teasing him and then run away. And first time I saw it, I remember I was torn when the kid, I don't know the name of that particular kid, but the one who runs into Michael through the,
Yeah. Well, it's not
the
Lonnie.
it's not Lonnie, it's the other kid with the dark hair.
Richie.
Sure, the dark-haired kid.
I'll look it up. I'm gonna try to look it up before Amethyst figures it out. It's like a race to figure
But
out
just,
the name of the kid.
but just the fact that he like runs into him and then like looks up at him and is just kind of like, doesn't even have time to register fear, but just kind of like knows intuitively, run away.
Yeah.
After taking in the situation and seeing it's not going anywhere, I have a way out. Take it.
It is
Something
Richie,
about
played by
Richie.
Mickey Yablans, who we talked about. He was the jerk kid in the locker room in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Right, and Erwin
Yeah.
Yablon's son, right? The
Yes, he's
producer?
the producer's son. The other
Okay.
kid, who's like the taller one, his name is Keith.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Keith, Ritchie, and Lonnie. But just watching even when Tommy was walking away, and granted, it's the way it's staged and everything, but just watching his lack of awareness as he's making his way, even through the school. But then when he finally makes it out to the front and he's just like walking on the sidewalk, I remember as a kid then even thinking like I would have noticed if somebody's like driving alongside me, like, but I was raised in the 80s when there was a lot of, like the DARE program and the McGruff and the this and that, like all the things telling us don't do drugs, so you don't talk to strangers, look both ways before crossing the street and all that kind of, and don't eat your Halloween candy until your parents have checked it kind of thing,
Yeah.
People actually gave a shit about kids. In the 70s, it was probably still different, but
Well,
I do remember
he's
thinking
kind of
like,
having his like Charlie Brown moment.
yeah, exactly. Just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, good grief. As, but I mean, just as this strange giant, like, station wagon is like driving right alongside him at exactly the pace he's walking. I
Mhm.
think I would have just like veered back to the school. Be like, oh, I would have done a whole show. I'd been like, oh shit, I forgot my chemistry book. And then I would have walked back and waited to see, is the car gone? Is it safe to walk home? But anyway, but
Well, there's
yeah, you go say something. I'm at a loss.
um I know we talked about this in Halloween Kills, but it was interesting this like bully hierarchy because we
Yes.
see that like Lonnie's like he's the big bad on the Haddonfield Elementary playground, but then there was the what did they were they just like don't fuck with the Delaney's or
Yeah, whatever they were.
the
Yeah.
Dana Delaney's and or it might have been like the Mulvaney's or some stupid shit. Sorry if that's someone's name. Um
The Dylan Mulvaney's, yes.
yeah, but they're no they it was just like, well, what? Why is he getting picked on? He's the one to look out for. So that was a choice. But yeah, here it's like this weird little they're the trio
Well,
of
because he's
deciding
even
who.
being, it's not bullied, but he's being pressured to like go over, to the front of the Myers house and to go inside and everything like that. And he's doing it. He's not saying like, fuck you, like, we're gonna do what I
Yeah,
want. Like he's not, he can succumb to peer pressure
yeah.
as easily as any other kid, I
Lonnie
suppose.
Elam,
Yep.
or is
Probably
it
won't make it through
Elam?
the,
Yeah. Well, they
probably
both
won't make it
say
through
it
the
like
third
because
grade.
Lori's like Lonnie Elam, and that always confused me because like I thought it was like Lonnie Lamb.
Well, because he says it, they say it like right
Yeah.
against each other, and I think he says it one way. It says they say Lonnie Elam, she says
Yeah.
Lonnie Elam, something like that, and I'm
Lonnie
just
E.
kind of like,
Lamb. Lonnie E. Lamb won't make it out of the which
yeah.
grade?
Third grade? Was it third grade?
Third grade? Yeah, third grader live. Well,
Yeah.
he made it. He made it all the way
In
to
that timeline, we're
yeah,
still we're
yeah.
still just in the OG where it's all just random and nothing. We don't know anything about what happens to these people afterwards. But
No.
another thing is, I remember there's something to the experience of seeing it in 4K now, where I actually sadly don't feel like I got to experience the 4K at its peak because I was watching it during the day. So there's all this, and it's a very dark movie for the
Mm,
most part.
very
So
blue. It's got the blue light
yeah,
behind me.
and also there's a lot of balance, like there's not a very high contrast. So I found there were scenes where I'm like, oh, I'm glad I know what this looks like because I can't see it in a well-lit room. And it wasn't even, I didn't have the lights on, it's just the sun going through closed blinds. So I'm gonna watch it again at night to experience the full, fervor of the, of the
Mhm.
resolution and whatnot. But in the daylight scenes and in the really, really, more brightly lit night scenes, oh my God, just watching it, I felt like I could see every pore in their faces. I could see, and I mean, in like a great way. It was almost kind of like I was transfixed, because the first time I saw it was on VHS in SD, barely SD. Like, I mean, grainy, not even pixelated, but whatever, I don't know what you call it. Just like these blobs of people. The first time I saw the knife that little Michael was holding when he walks out of the
Mhm.
Myers house and his parents are just standing there doing nothing.
Mhm.
There's light reflecting off of the blade, but I couldn't perceive that. It just looked like the knife went white. So I was like, "Oh my God, his sister bleeds white." Like I had too much exposure to Freddy
It's
Krueger at that point to like, body
or
horror and to
the androids
yeah,
in
right,
Alien.
to the
Well,
androids
it
in
does the same thing
Alien.
happens when he stabs Bob, like right before he
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but that was before. Like seeing the knife after, I was just kind of like,
Oh.
"Ew, did she bleed white?" And now I look at it, I'm just kind of like,
Michael.
"Yeah, right."
Ah, ah.
What is your opinion of Judith in her afterglow, just sitting there in her panties with her
Well,
door open?
she's singing a song too.
Yeah, she
What
is
is
a
it?
John Carpenter original.
It's a very like come hither like I want to be sometime. It had to be all original music, or else they'd have to pay the licensing rights. Um, I mean, I was always more like wondering like what their rooms are interconnected. So like his bedroom is like there's a door from like his room to her room,
Yeah,
and they clearly were like undressing in his room because that's like the path that he follows of
sure.
just like the clothes on the floor. So I mean that was more my thinking, but there I mean now that we're talking about the opening scene, there's always been something very supernatural about it to me. I mean there's something supernatural about the movie in general. But I don't know, it's just like that whole sequence I feel is so well done. Other than like continuity errors, which this movie is riddled with,
Sure.
which I know uh Craig already pointed out something about the door to the Wallace house, how outside it opens on one side, on the inside it opens on the other
Right.
side of the door. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like the whole tracking shot, just all of it being one fluid motion. Other than I
Hmm.
know there's a cut when like the mask goes over
Goes on her
that,
face, yeah.
yeah, that's executed well enough that you couldn't really tell. But I don't know. It's so creepy, and that's just sort of like the mythical origins of the character. And I think
Hmm.
that before I'd ever seen a Halloween movie, because as I mentioned, like I knew about it like from Scream, and then there's like
Hmm.
previews from H2O. Um, and I remember being at like summer camp because I was like H2O came out in the that summer of
Sure.
98, and like the other kids who had seen it had been like, yeah, like Michael, this is like the stories about Michael Myers and he kills his sister when he's a little kid and
Hmm.
yada yada yada. And it's like I guess like what the equivalent of like listening to a true crime podcast would be in like 2025. So then like finally seeing the movie, it's just like, oh my God, I'm witnessing the
Right,
moment
right,
that's been
right.
like talked about for so long now. So there, I mean, like with Halloween, it was always like so built up for me as this larger than life thing that that's why I always loved it when I eventually did see it.
Yeah, and I love the eternal question. I feel like I am constantly, and I think this is a merit to the filmmaking
Hmm.
and to just the decisions about how to handle Michael Myers as a character. And I even want to like put quotes around that, like, a question mark character,
Hmm.
because the vacancy, the absence of characteristics outside of, I mean, I guess we can define him by his actions, which we probably should for everybody. But there's something about the that I was particularly struck by in this particular screening, which is so gratifying to know you can see the movie as often as I have seen this movie and still see things and just kind of go, oh yeah, I haven't thought about that in a while, or I don't know if I have even wondered about this, but just wondering about this blurred line between, I've always wondered about the blurred line between like sex and death in terms of Michael kind of equating the two of them.
Hmm.
In order for one to exist, the other must exist as well. And if there's something about him witnessing also just like the clown mask that obviously is like the supplemental part of his costume that he's missing, that we see, what's the name of Judith's boyfriend? Okay, that guy.
Yeah.
We see him
You
taking
can
on
call me
shit.
tomorrow. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But he just like when they're kissing on the thing, and he puts the clown mask over his face and everything, and it's just sitting there
Take
waiting.
off that thing.
Yeah, right.
He's literally listed as boyfriend
Okay, cool.
in yeah.
Okay, I wondered if
Let's
she
see
said his
here.
name at some point, and I just didn't remember. So boyfriend. So when boyfriend
Boyfriend,
when boyfriend does his pump and dump, like 3 seconds long, and he leaves.
or as I like to call it, the shoot and scoot.
The shoot and scoot,
Yeah.
right? But so he takes off and everything like that, and Michael reclaims the mask and sees his sister in like a post-coital kind of like situation. Granted, it's not the most post-coital you could get because she is just sitting there at her vanity, brushing her hair, singing that song.
Yeah.
So it's very horror. Like, I mean, if there's anything that's quintessentially horror about this movie from the get-go, it's that
Hmm.
that little scenario. But the fact that like the knife goes into her once she realizes that he's standing there, and then the camera, I guess for clarity, just so we know, yes, that is indeed the knife going into her body. But just the fact that it's his POV, like looking at the knife as though he's like, yeah, that's it. I don't know. Um, I just remember sitting there
Yeah.
kind of like thinking it's all like science to him. Like he's conducting a little experiment. What's going to happen to her? And it's reinforced by Loomis, one of Loomis's speeches later, when he talks about, Michael lacking a rudimentary sense of life and death, good and evil, right and wrong, all of that stuff. But I think the life and death was what stuck with me this time. Just thinking about like, oh, he's not, we haven't witnessed him, killing any animals like we do in the Rob Zombie. So what if this is literally his first encounter with, I wonder what'll happen if I put this sharp thing. Maybe I've seen someone be cut before, but I wonder what's going to happen if it just goes right into, like the center of your body. What's going to happen? Will you bleed from the center of your body? And and then what? And then it's funny because he immediately flees the scene, the immediate scene, but only to the front of his house, and then just kind of stands there with this vacant look on his face that always looked lost to me, that always made me feel like there was something kind of, some unanswered question, some unfulfilled mission that he might not have even been conscious of. But so he's just standing there waiting for someone else to take the reins until it occurs to him to do the next thing. So
Mhm.
literally watching, I guess, a run-of-the-mill little boy become a killing machine that shuts down from then on, like immediately after his first
Mm.
kill. And I don't know, there's something about all of that that I find so much scarier. I like the not knowing, and I like the witnessing him at age 21. We've established now, not
Mhm.
23. But just witnessing him want to go back and just kind of experience that again, but try new things this time. And I don't, and it's just that weird little cause and effect series of experiments that he wants to conduct and just witness, like, well, what if I pretend to be her boyfriend? Or what if I hide and surprise her? Like what if I, like, oh, I don't know. And what if I set all these things up for that one last girl to come over and just discover them? Like, well, I don't know. And even the kill with Bob, like watching him like pinned to the door, I don't know exactly what's running through his head as he's wondering about it. Just the fact that he's capable of being around a body that has just been murdered by him with the life just
Well,
drained out of it.
yeah, like
He
he's
can just
he's
kind of,
admiring his art.
I guess,
Yeah,
like it
but
is on the wall, like a painting.
Michael, like he's kind of a trickster, like
Yeah,
he's cognizant of the things that he's doing, and I
right.
feel like that's been established, like especially in this like newer trilogies, like he knows what's up. Like it's just like he's not speaking, and he might
Hmm.
seem catatonic, but he's like fully aware
Hmm.
of what's going on. One thing that I did kind of take away when I watched it last night was how during that the tracking shot, because obviously it's an adult camera operator and they're more of
Right.
like a higher level.
Yeah.
And as I was watching it, I was thinking like, but maybe, just trying to headcanon it to like make it make sense. It's like maybe this is like how Michael perceives himself. Like he's, you know, bigger, like older, like just like higher up or taller than he
Oh.
actually is. But I didn't linger on that thought too long. But I mean, there's a lot of I think so like if this wasn't Halloween, if it wasn't something that I had grown up with from a younger age and have just so much love and appreciation for, I'd probably, if I saw it for the first time now, I would just be insufferable with criticisms about logic and geography. I mean, like, let's talk about I was like, shit, it's my dad. And like the alarms going off at the hardware store. Like
Yeah.
someone just broke in there and stole a knife and a mask. And it's like, dude, he's been walking around town all day with this
So
thing.
the
Like,
alarm.
is this how long it takes the Haddonfield police to get to the hardware store? Like literally like 6 hours later.
I
Um,
guess if the hardware store's closed for the holiday,
it's
maybe.
been it's been the alarm has been
It's been
going
six
off
hours at
all
least.
day.
Yeah.
Then there's like everything, like Craig had mentioned the Wallace house, but like that the Doyle house, like every time they go out in that back door and
Yeah.
like Lori, like she comes in from the, I guess like the right side, like the right side of the screen. But when she
Mm.
runs around the house, she's coming around the left side, and it's just like, what is the geog? This house is so confusing. The house itself, the front door is like on the very edge of the house, but you walk in and there's like this whole ass living room there.
Right.
Like I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying like if this was today and I saw that, I
Yeah.
would be insufferable about all these things.
Incensed. You'd be.
Yes. I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense at all. It's like the shine. It's like the Shining when he walks into what's his face's office and there's a window there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that window doesn't exist at all.
But I just, I mean, at least there's a way to save that in The Shining. I mean, I guess if you meant, I mean, if we want to reach, you did say, make an allusion to the supernatural, just feel the vibe of like that
Yeah.
opening sequence. So, and that runs kind of like throughout that. It kind of follows Michael in his like immortality or whatever, his
Yeah.
ability to drive when he's never driven before and to know the route. Because my mom immediately asked me in this screening, she was just like, "How do you know how to get back to Haddonfield?" I'm like, "Mom, it's the movie. You can't." I don't know, Mom. He followed the signs. He learned how to read, obviously, before he went into the facility. So I guess he just knows Haddonfield and the arrow pointing this way. That means I
Yeah.
drive this way. It would have been funnier for sure if certain kind of like more accurate, scenario specific truths manifested on screen. Like if the second he finishes attacking Marion and gets her out of the car and jumps in, if we would have just seen like a gas brake. Gas brake, like everybody does the first time they get behind the wheel of a car. And they're like, I'm afraid of how fast it's going to go, so I'm going to hit the brake and then just start swerving
Mhm.
slowly,
Maybe
like out
somebody
of
around here
frame.
gave him lessons.
Yeah, right. It's 25 hours last night. But oh, and okay, we haven't really
Well,
mentioned Donald Pleasance
yeah,
yet
hold on.
either.
Amethyst is
Oh yeah.
asking, would you guys open the door for Lori if you were Tommy's awful neighbors or turn off the lights and pretend you aren't home? I think that's Lindsay's neighbors because Tommy's neighbor
Yeah.
is the guy who's like, I've been trick-or-treated to death
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah. You don't
night.
know what death is. Yes,
Yeah.
in the next
They're
movie,
like,
but
hello? Hello? Will you help me? Like, no, we're not
yeah.
home. We're just gonna shut off the lights and
Help me, please.
I
did you hear
remember
me?
this is the thing. Because they're not her neighbors, it makes me wonder, like, do they know her? I mean, Haddonfield's a
Yeah.
small town, so maybe everybody knows everybody. But if it were a stranger,
Yeah.
I don't know, because this is the thing, pranks exist. And
Yeah.
especially, God, with the advent of the internet and these prank reels that people do, like they make people believe that they're in actual duress. I just saw one where a guy was like walking up to people in like courtyard settings, asking them their names, why they were answering their full names, first and last name, to this random guy on the street. I don't know, but he would just go into something that looked like a device and say like, take the shot, and run away from them. And these people freaked out because they thought someone was going to snipe them, you know? And I'm like, and I couldn't laugh at it. I was just, I mean, granted, Boy Cried Wolf sent it to me and he asked me, what would you do? And I'm like, first of all, some random guy runs up to me and asks me my name. I'm not telling him. So he
Yeah.
can't even scare me. But so I don't know. If I thought I might think it was a prank, but if it turned out it was like somebody I knew, or if I could see that they were like, I don't know. I honestly, sad to say, I don't know. In this day and age, I don't know if I trust people. How about you,
There's
Zach?
yeah, I mean there's also the idea of the bystander effect,
Yeah,
which is essentially like it's a study that shows that if there's like someone is in duress, let's
yeah,
say, and there's a large group or like say someone was in Times Square screaming bloody murder, like someone
yeah.
was chasing them, it's more likely that not a lot of people would step in to assist because the mentality is that, oh, there's other people here who are going to do
Hmm.
that. Whereas, like, the fewer people there are, like, if it's just you, you would be more likely to assist that person because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I've got a moral responsibility at this point. So I mean, the speaking of like this circumstance, like just the neighbor, they might have thought like, oh well, another neighbor will get it. But she did go directly up to their door.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't like I live in an apartment.
Yeah.
But I'm just sometimes, and I know that like when I lived in my childhood house, if like the door rang, I probably like wouldn't answer it, or I would
Oh
like
no.
get on my hands and knees and like crawl, and then
Yeah.
like go and just like see who's there because I didn't want them to see that someone was home.
Yeah.
Um, I know I'm so mature.
No, I get it.
So
I used to.
yeah, I mean the thing with this neighbor is like they're so brazenly an asshole. It's just like you've I can see you. You've made your
Yes.
presence known.
I wouldn't turn the
Yeah.
porch light off. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not fooling anybody.
That's so yeah, I don't know. I might not. I might want to be like, I don't know who this person is. I don't know what they're gonna bring into my space, but
Right.
yeah, I couldn't say. What does that say about me?
I think that you're human and that the world is a complicated place. I do have to say also though, I would not turn the porch light off because that's just kind of like, well, if you are in trouble, you're fucked now. But
Yeah.
but I would probably actually like I'm of course this is the Virgo side of me. I'm just thinking practically like I usually have my windows open on Halloween night anyway, just so I can hear the trick-or-treaters approaching, so I can be ready so they don't have to stand there waiting for me to get to the amble to the door, get the candy ready, open the door. Like I can hear them coming so I can preemptively like stand up and make my way over so when they knock I can open the door, here's your candy, have a good night. So I would be able to hear something. So if I heard somebody screaming, no, she was screaming for a while there, and if I heard them like making their way toward my house, also you
Mhm.
gotta go with your gut sometimes. Like if the screaming like inspired something primal in me, I mean, I might open the door. I don't know if I'd let somebody in right away because again, prank, or they could just be, some horrible person
Mhm.
trying to get in my house. But I would be trepidatious for sure. I would not just kind of, oh, come into my home. What's happening? No, I don't
Yeah.
trust people. I'm an
Yeah.
introvert. I don't trust people. Sorry if that's a bummer of an answer.
Yeah.
But oh my God. No, another thing about like the movie, like as it was occurring to me, because Donald Pleasance, just watching him and watching him take things in, and even in like the deleted scenes and everything like that, like he was so incredibly present and so undeniably Loomis while he was doing everything. He
Mhm.
has that wonderful moment when he's in the little orange room making his case, and just kind of like,
Mhm.
I've spent 4 hours every day, and he just kind of stops himself and says it again, like keep it together. And I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, so the seeds were planted relatively early. I mean, granted, that was shot around the same time as Halloween 2, but
Mhm.
yeah, relatively early, Donald Pleasance knew this is a guy who's kind of like walking a line, who could crack at any minute because no one is listening to him. And I don't know, and I admire, I think I've said this maybe off pod with you. There's something I love about everything that's brought to Loomis by the writing and by Donald Pleasance and just the way he's shot and everything that gets me to empathize with him because he's a man who I also don't know if I would open the door to in my life because the things that he's saying are ridiculous and not medical and um like he's talking evil, and it's like you're a
Mhm.
professional, sir. Like you
Yeah.
can't, if you can't diagnose this, as like a particular kind of like disorder or something like that. Granted, we're talking 1978. I don't know how far along
Yeah.
we were with that, but I mean, it's interesting that he says it, and the horror lover in me believes him, and it's just like all y'all who don't listen to him are gonna die, and you're gonna deserve it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I always like expect Loomis to just say, "I'm a doctor, damn it," or just something like he's Loomis strikes me as like he's I mean we've probably seen something similar to this throughout the franchise, but like he's the kind of person that would like stop someone for like in the middle of the road they were driving. He would come in, open the door, and be like, "I need your car," and then punch them and throw them at the side and take their car. I've got a official Smith's Grove business.
I mean, that wouldn't be like plan A.
Yeah.
But if talking sweetly didn't work,
Yeah.
maybe, or
Yeah.
hold you at
Well,
gunpoint,
the
get you out
thing
of the
that I
car. Yeah,
the thing that I love about Loomis
yeah.
is that he just I mean, at least for I don't count four because I don't like there's not really a lot of like moments of like true mania there.
Mm, mm.
But like from one to two and then five, it's just this like progression of just like just becoming more and more unhinged. And then he's like completely mellowed out in six.
Hmm.
That was a
Hmm.
choice.
Well, he got his prescription.
Give me my fucking prescription. Or how he would say it. He wouldn't
Oh my
swear. He's
God.
not a Loomis isn't a swearer.
No, he wouldn't swear. He wouldn't
Yeah.
call his therapist a bitch and tell her to
Yeah.
give him his fucking
Yeah.
prescriptions. I mean, he's a doctor. He could write his own, right? Well, I guess you can't do
Well,
that. I think doesn't
yeah.
that violate a
Well, I'm
code?
sure. Yeah, I'm sure he'd find some way
Yeah, some
to
colleague write him a
get
prescription
around.
and
Yeah.
eat balance himself out. But
Hmm. He
we'll talk.
doesn't. Dr. Loomis doesn't take any prescription. He's unmedicated. Come
Well, we'll
on.
see. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that movie when we get to that movie. But with this one, just stage one, Loomis and everything like that, I just like the fact that his energy seems to kind of like match the general vibe of tension that runs throughout the movie, musically and as far as like the pacing, as far as the way the shots are structured. Oh, because that was another thing I noticed. It was so clear that the scenes that were shot for television were just shot for. I don't know if John Carpenter had a hand in them, but they are certainly not framed. It's just kind of like stationary, wide shot. Actors
Mhm.
move inside of it. We're going to cut, like half the screen off anyway, just so it'll fit on the television screen.
Mhm.
There's not like a lot of artfulness that went into it. It's just a lot of presentationalism. And then immediately it cuts into like the theatrical release, the movie proper, and you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, see, that's a dynamic angle. That's an interesting way to kind of like follow Laurie from A
Yeah.
to B and stuff. But
Well, I
that's
mean,
the thing. Yeah,
that's the producer side of John
sure.
Carpenter that there's the creator and there's the producer.
Yeah,
And I mean, he was already at a point in his career where it's just like, all right, they're gonna give me money,
yeah.
just
Just
I'll
get it
do
done.
it.
Get
Yeah,
it done.
yeah.
Shoot something.
Hmm.
Make it a little interesting. Talk about the blouse.
What's Loomis's sign? Zach asks Amethyst Frost.
Ooh.
I would say that Loomis is an Aquarius.
Because?
Um, just very strange. Y'all are
Mm.
strange. But very strange, but just like kind of like march to the beat of their own drum. But also like it's a fixed sign, and Loomis is like absolutely fixed energy, so like that kind of narrows it down. And when I
Mm.
say fixed, like fixed signs are very much like stuck in their way. They're very unwavering. It's just like they have an idea,
Oh,
they have a perspective, or a way of doing things. It's just like they're not going to deviate from that path at all. So that
sure.
would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio,
Mm.
and Aquarius. And Aquarius is more of like that's just air energy, so it's more of like the driven by ideas, by intellect, by you know just
Facts.
yeah, well the unconscious mind. Just like the him like all the things that he says, it just feels like very like he's intellectualizing evil, in a
Yeah.
sense where I don't think that, like if he were a Scorpio, he'd probably be there. There'd be more of like an emotional, uh, personal connection that he has that's like driving him with Michael. It's like maybe Michael killed his wife or something, and he is just like, I'm going to, yeah, he's Liam Neesoning him. um, so yeah, I mean, that's why I say Aquarius.
Is Annie a resident Scorpio
Google
of the
AI
film?
says Pisces.
Oh.
Well, I don't agree with that, Craig.
Why are you asking AI
Yeah.
anything? How is your cat, Eddie? She's great. She's sleeping right now. Let's keep her sleeping. But so we
Yeah,
have to edit her out.
don't jinx that.
Yeah. But is Annie the resident Scorpio of the film?
Annie? Are you asking me or did someone ask
Yeah,
that?
I'm asking you.
I think that Annie is she feels like Earth energy.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe Capricorn.
Hmm. Interesting.
I can see a Capricorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spikiest Capricorn
Linda
I've ever known.
Linda Linda might be she could be like a Gemini or a Leo or like she's definitely like air or fire, maybe I don't know about Sag, but
Okay.
she's yeah.
Just kind of like
Well, she's
flighty.
more like yeah, she's a lot more like peppy than the other two. Like she's yeah.
Overextends herself in her commitments.
Confident. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would say let's go with Leo.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, just in terms of like, okay, if this movie existed on its own and there were never any kind of like sequels or anything,
Yeah.
could you
Ooh.
devise in your mind a direction you would like to see the franchise go? Like ideally, somebody to follow, or just like a complete new story? Would you want them to go the anthology
I
route
mean, yeah, that's what I
that
was
John
gonna
Carpenter
say.
would do?
I
Okay.
would have liked that. I mean, but then requires the foresight to have like known about Season of the Witch. But the thing is, if like Halloween 2 never existed and it just went right to Season of the Witch, like I think
Hmm.
Season of the Witch would have been extremely popular.
Hmm.
This probably would have like I mean, like look at just like where shows like American Horror Story are at, where it's just like people love
Right.
anthology, like that kind of stuff sells now. So the franchise could have
Hmm.
been like very successful and popular in that way. So I mean, it's hard to say. I think that it's definitely like Halloween is a complete story
Yeah.
to me. Like I understand when John Carpenter says like there's nothing more to say here. This is the movie. This is done. I'll take
Yeah.
my page. I'll take my what does she
I'll
say?
take me. I'll take me my wages, if you
No,
please. I'll
but
take
what
me
is like
payment. My payment.
I'll take my payment now. Yeah. Laurie Strode in 2018 is John Carpenter at the door. Like, I'll take my payment now. But I think that like I understand his frustration because I mean like in I love this franchise. I'm not going to
Mhm.
diminish the the value that each sequel adds just because it doesn't align with John Carpenter's uh trajectory for what he wanted or lack thereof a trajectory.
Mhm.
But like I can see it. It's just sort of like, every new movie is just like it just gets more complicated. It just gets more uh convoluted with everything that is added like that. I still look at this entire new trilogy and I ask why, like what did we need that? I mean, I get it made money, that's why. And there's value to be had in it. I don't think that it's terrible.
Mhm.
But I can see like with each new installment it's just sort of like okay, we're just sort of like sifting through ash to continue this story, and that's why, people ask like, what is like the next direction that this franchise could go? Like, where do we go from here? When's the next reboot? What are they gonna do? And it just feels like, or we can just leave it alone. They're actually,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure everyone knows about it at this point. There's the video game that's coming out, and I think that that's a wonderful continuation of it because it's like I don't think that we need a TV show. I don't think that we need more movies. I think that it's just leave it alone. If they
Mhm.
never made another Halloween movie, I would be perfectly fine with that.
Mhm.
I'm sure there will be one eventually, but like to
Yeah.
have like a video game where we can explore the world of Haddonfield, like that's appealing to me. That's exciting. So I would rather see that. It's more of like now we're kind of just get to explore what we already know rather than try to force a subject that just does not want to have any more stories be told about it. And
Mm.
that's kind of what it's always been with Michael. And I mean, for better or worse, you know, every movie has its fans, and like I love Halloween 5. I know that people think that that's awful. But I can look at that movie and just be like, this is ridiculous. This story did not need to be told, but I'm enjoying the hell out of the style and
Hmm.
the ridiculousness of it. So, I mean, like most movies, I think that like H2O probably has like the the best justification for it existing, just in terms of like following Laurie's character and where is she after all of this. But I mean, most of everything else, it's just like, you know, you just kind of go for the ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. There's some, what I don't, there's something reassuring and enticing about revisiting it. Like even when it's not Halloween season, like of course I love watching it in October, but I also just love when I get a yen in like mid-March or or even just like a few months later. Like there have been years where I don't get to it in time in October, and then around December, which is when I really love to dive into my horror, just to kind of like be my way to counterbalance all the Christmas cheer I'm surrounded by.
Yeah.
um, I mean, because that's the thing is like and I think I said it in the Black Christmas pod, like there's darkness to be had at that time of year. So I love to just kind of like let it exist, just like
Mm.
just let it reverberate and just kind of like again like tell myself I'm not buying into some kind of like idealized way of life just because of the time of year it is. In fact, these things exist, 24 hours a day, 12 months a year, and they're going to exist for me right now. I'm going to embrace my darkness, and I'm going to, watch people, I guess like watch how fragile life is,
Yeah.
and kind of celebrate it, like as whether I'm, just indulging in the brutality of it or whether I'm just watching something that looks dark, that doesn't
Yeah.
look like it's trying to dress something up, rather trying to, I don't know, pull a mask off. Oh, because that was another thing. I remember seeing the poster in Laurie's bedroom, and I can't remember. Amethyst, help me. The name of the painter who Laurie has on her bedroom wall. It's like I can only see like the actor name Ansel Elgort, and I know that's not him, but it's something like that. And I looked it up some time ago and forgot who it was, and my mom was so distracted she made me stop the movie so she could put it into a search engine and find out what it is. And apparently, this painter uh, was notorious for painting people wearing hideous masks. And I'm like, oh, okay, so there's the significance because it's about like, Michael putting on like a mask that's going to like chill people to their bones. And not because the mask itself is grotesque, but because of the vacancy of it, because of the cold, there's absolutely no warmth emanating from that mask, that the shape
Mm.
dawns. And I don't know, just like little details like that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Um,
We also have Laurie's Raggedy Ann doll, which then
right.
makes another appearance in Halloween Resurrection, where she like
Right.
hides the pills in it. And then I guess Michael takes that and he's got it in his dungeon lair later on, and it's got like the bolts in the eyes.
Oh God, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, you brought up Supernatural again, and for me, it's not. I know you didn't mean like it's a supernatural movie, but I mean like yeah, he is kind of like superhuman. He's getting places, and surviving things he should not be surviving, and whatever that kind of like defy the laws of of nature or whatever. But there's
Biology.
biology and
Yeah.
just human capability. But
Yeah.
so it's kind of superhuman. But James Enzor, thank you, Craig. Um,
What'd
oh,
you
and
say?
Amethyst said it first.
Ansel Engort?
Ansel Elgort. Yeah, I thought
Ansel.
James Enzor.
Ansel.
You see where I got there.
Yeah.
But oh shit, what was I saying? I completely got derailed. Anyway,
No, it's fine.
oh, things and stuff. Masks makes people feel I don't know what I was saying. I just I think I'm just coming down on the fact that like there's still things to be mined in this film. Like, and I remember I had a conversation with someone who claimed to be like a film a cinephile, and he had never seen Halloween, and then somebody showed it to him. I'm really glad it was not me because he sat through the whole movie and he was bored out of his mind and said, "Why do people celebrate this film? It's boring, it's stupid, it's not scary." And I'm just kind of like, you didn't. And I tried to just kind of take it apart and just, like ask him, like, well, what about the music? Like, how did you feel about just like the mood that, that John Carpenter was able to just kind of like infuse into moments that would otherwise have just kind of like sat there.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I just didn't do anything, man. It's just fingers on keys. And I'm like, well, that's music. What the fuck? And I'm
It's
like, what about the cinematography, the angles he was able to capture? He's just made a face, just like,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh my
It's
God.
it's a vibe, and I think that like, all of my favorite horror is like has vibes at least. Like, so, like sometimes they have a really good script,
Mhm.
but it usually comes down to that. Like it's a really good script or really good vibes, and sometimes you have a movie that has both. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that this is like a really good script. It's a very rudimentary, to use one of Loomis's words, script, but it's simple. It's like that's kind of what works about this movie is that it is so like not basic, but just like it's just a very streamlined, straightforward story that's just told in the most efficient way possible.
Yeah.
And that's why once you start adding in those extra like scenes made for TV, it just starts to get bogged down because it's just like that's filler that doesn't add anything to it. So I think that for everything that it is, like there's people out there that I mean, I think most people just like performatively will say like Halloween 1 is the best movie in the franchise, but it's just like, but
Mm.
why? Like there's certain reasons as to what it is, and I think for me it's because it is, you already talked about like just appearance wise, and when I say like supernatural, like there's something about it that feels otherworldly because of,
Mhm.
this is shot in Pasadena, but it's supposed to be the Midwest, so it doesn't look like it's a place that exists anywhere other than in this universe. And that's what I love
Mhm.
about Halloween is that it is a movie that exists solely in its own universe, and it has a very distinct look to it. And it works. I mean, like you can see like there's palm trees like in the far background in some shots, but you're not like hyper focused on them, but there's a there's an atmosphere, there's a vibe around it that doesn't feel quite right. Like it doesn't feel like it's real life, but
Mhm.
it feels like it works for this movie. And like I love that. I love the character. They're just so simplistic. I love the dialogue, which is
Mhm.
also just like it's so streamlined. It's so easy. I love how quotable it is.
Yeah.
There's like the scene when they're like even like the side characters like when they're at the graveyard and this gravekeeper is like starts telling this story about old Scotty Bowman and Russellville,
Yes.
and it's like I want to hear the rest of that story. Like
Me
that, I'm interested in
too.
that story. And Loomis is like, "Where are we?" And they're like, "Come on, man."
Well, he's got his eye on the prize, so I understand
Yeah,
his objectivity. But
yeah,
even this viewing, I was just sitting there, like listening to him tell the story, because it comes at like a crucial moment where he's like, he kissed his wife and children on the heads, and then all of a sudden, it's like, that's, come on, we were almost there, Loomis.
yeah.
But life and death, like the immediate threat is
Hmm.
more important at that particular
Yeah,
juncture. I get it.
yeah.
I'm a
It's just really,
campfire sitter. I want to hear
yeah.
the story.
Yeah, no, it's just really good storytelling from start to finish, and
Hmm.
like all the stuff in like the car when they're driving at the beginning,
Hmm.
like your compassion is overwhelming, Doctor.
Oh
Like
yeah.
all that, just like the dialogue between them, it's lyrical. Like it's just
And there's something about it that feels incredibly like classic Hollywood filmmaking. There's like an element to it because it's undeniably taking place,
mhm.
in the 70s. But there's something about her bravado and her lighting up the cigarette that just kind of reminds me of, like an old Betty Davis movie. And just, I don't know, just the fact that
Yeah, compassion is overwhelming. Yeah,
yeah,
you do the Betty
right.
Davis.
Yeah, compassion is overwhelming. That's late Betty Davis, but there's something. But I mean, even just like the fact that like he's like eyeing the rabbit in red like Matchbox cover, and he's just kind of like asking her about like what do you know about this, and it's like only ever works. It's just the thing that bothers me is like that babbling. That's the thing, and it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that, again, like you're right. Like there's just like a very effective establishment of mood, down to like the crashes of thunder and lightning that are going on in the storm.
Hmm.
That everything technically is like set up so well, and then like I agree with you. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would necessarily teach this screenplay in like screenwriting classes. I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it discourage people from
Hmm.
using it as an example. But like, there are examples within it that I like that are, like you said, very rudimentary. But I mean, there's something so attractive about Laurie sitting in her classroom discussing fate. We get to know so much about thematically kind of like what.
And the book ends.
Yes. But
Nori,
just
answer the question.
yeah, right. And we get to know about Laurie the character because we get to know she knows the answer, even if she's like caught off guard. Most of us, if we're sitting in class and we're daydreaming or looking out the window, the teacher calls on us, to like answer their question without repeating the question. We don't know what they just asked us. But she was actually dialed in. She was listening to the teacher. She's there. She did her work and she understands like the difference, okay, if there are two different fate, like this author said that fate is associated with religion, and this author said that fate is more elemental, like water, or something is just like a
Hmm.
crucial element of life. And she's just like, yes, there has to be an element anyway. So we get to know, okay, Laurie's smart, she's a good student, she, even if she's thrown, she can still like write the thing, but also
Guys
just
think I'm too smart.
yeah.
I don't. I think you're wacko. Now you're
which
saying men behind
which we find out
bushes.
after, but also
Yeah.
just learning about fate and watching this
Hmm.
young girl knowing that something's going to happen to her. Something about tonight is about inescapable fate for her, and the guy who was just staring at her through the window is probably going to play a part in that. I love that
Yeah.
shit. Makes it feel, it's such a I mean, it is by and large a small film. It feels small. It doesn't feel like it feels like it all takes place, like within like Smith's Grove and like Haddonfield, and that's it. And
Hmm.
everything else is the world, but Haddonfield is like our core focus,
Yeah.
and yet there's some, because of this the diminutive size of it, like it feels accessible, it feels pedestrian in the best way possible, and then at the same time, like not outside our realm of like speculating what would I do if I were in that situation. And then at the same time there's something incredibly epic, and these forces of like good and evil. Now we've determined this character represents evil, this character represents good, which I mean
Hmm.
should be kind of pat by the time we reach the 70s with the direction horror movies took. Good and evil wasn't, it was actually something that debilitated films, the lack of nuance. But this, John Carpenter was able to allow them both to simultaneously
Hmm.
exist. We feel like we're getting to know people, and yet we're able to identify who's good and who's bad. And there's something really reassuring, I don't know, about
Yeah.
that as a filmmaker. I'm not as a filmmaker, as an audience, as a moviegoer,
Right.
audience member. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Well, by the way, just because we didn't mention it, Michael Myers' birthday is October 19th. So I guess he's a
ooh,
Libra.
wow. Well, he's
Yeah.
playful.
He is playful. But they, they don't like confrontation, but I guess for him it's just like he knows that there probably won't be very much except
It's why he needs
yeah,
the mask.
they fight back, yeah.
It's why he needs the mask. Wow, that's
Perhaps, yeah.
sad.
Well,
I
yeah,
yes.
I think that now is a good time to move along. What do you say?
Yeah, that's that.
All right, well, let's get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we kill people on purpose.
Alrighty. Who is the cherry on top, and why is it Annie?
Because it's your podcast, and because in name,
It's
like, but it's also no, but also um, I mean, there are plenty of characters who are as quotable, maybe, as her at times, but she's the most quotable character
she
of
is,
this
I mean, for
movie.
me at least, yeah.
She's the one I find myself quoting all
Yeah.
the time. Just like, oh, hi, Paul. I mean, that's not even.
Lindsay, Lester is barking again and getting
Yeah,
on my nerves again.
look, Lindsay, I thought we understood each other. Like, okay. See, it's not even, the lines aren't even like on their own, like
Yeah.
hilariously funny. It's all about her delivery. It's all
And
about
she's
Nancy
great.
Loomis.
And because she was in, we talked about this, she's in Season of the Witch. She plays
Yeah.
Chalice's ex, and she's basically just like, it's the same
Yeah.
rule. It's just like, this is what Michael did her a favor because she just would have been miserable. She would have married this drunk doctor who was
Nice
going to be a deadbeat.
try.
Yeah. Have to deal with that.
Yeah, right.
She was in a few, I
Just
mean, she was in The Fog.
hmm Yeah.
Um,
She got
she
plenty of deadpan lines in that too.
she played off of Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
Um, oh, she also I love the line, "What happened?" Which she says in The Fog too. And just like she said the same thing, and then like the exact same delivery. Yes, ma'am. I love the fact that it's like, shit, it's my dad. And like you don't have to pull over. You can you could drive by and just be like, hey. But the fact that she stops and then it's hard growing up with a cynical father.
He'll wonder
Aren't you
why
gonna
she
be
didn't
late?
stop. He'll wonder why she didn't stop. That's why.
Yeah. He shouts too.
Yeah, right.
We didn't even
You
talk
blame
about
you blame everything on kids. What?
we didn't even talk about Charles Cyphers as
Oh,
old
Sheriff
Brack.
Brackett.
Yeah. Aren't you gonna be late?
On
I
the
mean,
East
you know that
Coast.
like I love Brad Dourif as Brackett. Like he's probably the one thing of like the Rob Zombie movies that I'm just like, okay, I love it. But I do like Charles Cyphers in this role. And
Mhm.
the whole like, oh my God, excuse me, Mr. Brackett. I'm sorry, Mr. Brackett.
Yeah, right.
Hi, Lori.
Do you think he was trying to sound like Nancy Loomis? Just a little bit of a kind of
I mean,
dry kind of thing, maybe?
she, I, she is her father's daughter, you know,
Yeah,
like
right. It would have
it's
been funny if he.
Halloween. It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare. Did Brad Dourif say that line in the remake? I don't
I
remember.
don't think so. He said he did a lot, but I don't
Yeah.
remember that happening in the movie. But I mean, it's been a
Well, if
month
he
since I
did
saw it,
say
so.
it's, come on. If he did say it, it'd be like, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Yes, Mr. Brackett. Thank you, Mr. Brackett. Just East Coast Haddonfield.
Yeah, the Brooklyn side of
The
Haddonfield.
Brooklynese Haddonfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Or how would he say the line if he were English?
I don't
I'm
know.
a Bobby.
The Bobby of Haddonfield Circus. Um, I don't know. I don't know. We'd have to get
It's really like,
the podcast.
I
The podcast
suppose
is
it's yeah no, but instead of I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, I suppose
right.
the lot of us. I suppose the lot of us are entitled. What's a fancier way of saying
Uh,
entitled? Uh,
hmm.
uh, what? I
I
suppose the lot of us. Uh,
I could jump to thesaurus.com
yeah,
if we're
right.
gonna waste everyone's time with this nonsense.
I suppose the lot of us. Anybody
uh,
have anything?
uh,
The most.
label. I mean, you could just say the end out of like title.
Okay. I suppose the lot of us are
I mean,
titled.
this is a weak match, but appellated.
Oh, I suppose the lot of us are appellated to to a proper scare. To a
A pro,
right. There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I suppose the lot of us are entitled to or
yeah,
are appellated to a proper fright, isn't it?
isn't it?
Absolutely.
I just think, what does
Absolutely,
he say
Bobby
to
Brad
Loomis?
Pitt.
He's just like, oh, you must think me a very tense doctor. What does he say?
Oh, you must think me a very tense doctor. Oh,
Yeah, he's
I
like,
think that's right.
actually, I just think plain scared.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Think you've got the shivers.
Oh
Jesus
gosh, yeah.
Christ.
Or if this was like another one of those Canadian productions, we could just do a whole thing where everyone was
Oh,
Canadian.
yeah.
Anyways, so wait, it's Annie.
It's Annie.
It's Annie. It's Annie.
It's
Last
Annie. Yeah, it's the next movie.
one of them was Annie.
Yeah,
One of
right.
them was Annie. Oh, that I feel like that movie's even more quotable. Um, it's certainly there. Like Loomis really has a lot more, I think, juicier bits in that. We'll get to that
Oh,
next week. But
yeah.
yeah. So last week, I'm a little fuzzy here, a little out of focus for people listening. So,
Oh.
or it might just be the connection. I don't know. Last week we didn't ask you who deserved to die the most. We asked you what is the best year in horror,
Yeah.
and you nominated 1986. I nominated 1982
Yeah.
across Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube. We have 331 votes for 1982 and 201 for 1986.
Oh, well, thanks for showing up, guys.
Thanks for picking the right year,
Oh,
guys.
dear God.
Fear queer horror guru. 82, of course. Welshman. I can totally see those movies. All I know is the high majority of slashers suck, and older movies in general as well. Lexi Smichinsky. I'm always gonna fuck that up. But you know that I love you. You know I'm trying. 82, Poltergeist, The Thing, and Creepshow. Magic. Vicky screams. I'm not saying that I voted for 86 because it was the year I was born, but I'm also not saying that. Both years had such strong contenders, so I needed help deciding. Adrian Phillips. Oh, who's here right now with us?
Hey.
82 decided by that score on Tenebrae, aggressively humming to the score's groove and tune. Down, 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 Desiree Perez. Desiree Perez. I was gonna say 86 because of F13 Jace Lives, but I have to go with 82 because of Poltergeist, F13 Part 3, and Slumber Party Massacre.
Mm.
Kellen 3, whose literal like avatar is the key art for Tenebrae. It's
Oh,
pretty hard not to go with 82. Beyond the fact that many films from this year are my personal fave, I think this year has a film for just about every kind of horror fan. That's a very good point. So
yeah.
many great movies from both years, though, really makes me wish I was alive in the 80s. LOL.
Mm. Mm.
I wish I was like cognizant in the 80s because I was 5 by the time they actually, well, yeah, I would have turned 5 in 90.
Mm.
So, yeah, I was only like, 40. I don't remember what was
I
going
think I
on.
got the best of it because I didn't know what was going on politically, and I I
Yeah.
got and it was the best time to be a consumer as a kid in the 80s. Our toys between Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
you name it. Oh, it was
They
so
were
good.
still pretty good in the
Real
90s
Ghostbusters.
too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I stopped playing with
I'm
them.
yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, like I don't I'm not mad about when I was born because I think
Yeah.
that the 90s were pretty nifty too.
Hmm.
Grant Dempsey, Grant,
Grant.
who's also here. I think he's here with us.
Yeah, yeah.
I love The Thing, Halloween 3, Tenebrae, and Poltergeist. But I also love The Fly, Aliens, Psycho 3, and even Poltergeist 2. And I think I've got to give the collective edge to 1986. But come on, y'all fell asleep on nominating 1988? Friday 7 and Nightmare 4, my favorite of each franchise, Hellraiser 2, Halloween 4, the first Child's Play, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, The Blob, the original Vanishing, even frickin' Beetlejuice, etc., etc. What a year.
I mean, I didn't sleep on it. It was one of my top 10. So that's got to be worth
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I mentioned it.
we're
It made
something,
my
yeah.
list.
And then finally, we got Silent Saturn. 1982 was the year I was born, and when Tenebrae came out, I let you decide which was the bigger event. Always use Silent Saturn.
Yeah, that's fun.
I gotta pick
Yeah.
the asshole of the film. Uh, firstly,
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I mean, this is like kind of the obvious choice, but I'm gonna go with Dr. Terrence Wynn.
Mm.
And I mean, the thing with him is like no matter which way you cut it, this guy sucks. And when I mean like sequel divergence, like we know what happens if we go in the Thorn cult timeline. But I mean, this guy is like he's the first thing out of his mouth is like I'm not responsible, Sam. And it's like, you are the fucking director of this facility. You are entirely responsible. Like, take some culpability, man. And yeah, just fuck that guy. And like, for God's sakes, he doesn't know how to drive. I'm like, he was doing very well last night. Like, like maybe because you taught him how to drive, asshole, depending on which timeline we're going by. So anyway, yeah, that guy, because I can't even think of anyone else because I love everyone in this movie. So
Okay.
yeah, that's my
My
choice.
choice, I'm going to go in a complete opposite direction, just in terms of like who deserves to die the most, in terms of like who should have died but got away. I'm picking Richie. He ran right into the hands of Michael Myers. I don't care if it's broad daylight, it's Halloween, it's your holiday. And this kid just did something awful, just like belittled another child and did it in the company of like two other kids. So he, had a seeming invulnerability, then runs right into you and then just runs right away. And then the next time we see him, assumedly, he's one of the kids daring Lonnie to go over and go into the house. And it's like, I mean,
He was actually encouraging. He was like, "Come on, Lonnie, you can do it."
yeah, and it's like,
I think it
dude,
was
there's a
was
fucking
it
killer
him?
in
Yeah.
there. I mean, I think it was supposed to be the same trio, like who was
No,
like
it was.
bullying
Yeah.
Tommy and then
Yeah.
yeah, going to the house. But I just, oh my God, like, yeah, he should have died. Or, I mean, I guess it poses an interesting question, but I just like, dude, like, and then he starts following Tommy, and I'm just kind of like, why? I don't know. It begs questions. It makes me more interested in the movie, but it doesn't make me want that kid to live anymore. I actually think watching, oh God, like watching him just kind of like get put over Michael's shoulder and Michael just disappears behind some corner
He should just
and
put him
just
over his shoulder and gave him a spanking. It was 1970. They could
not
get
even
away with that.
spanking, just like just you know. I don't
Oh my
really.
gosh.
It's a
So
fictional character.
we did,
It's not
and
like we
we
kill people
on purpose.
on purpose.
Well, I mean, neither of us picked the heavy of the film, who
Oh, Michael?
arguably should have deserved
Does
the
he deserve?
most.
No, because he deserves to be studied, not to die.
He deserves to be studied. You sound like Dr. Sartain.
Yeah,
No,
but
no, 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 but there has to be a mix of Mrs. Voorhees in there. He's like, he should have been studied every minute.
what's wasn't a very good swimmer, but he wasn't a very good killer.
He wasn't a very good patient.
Yeah, right.
No,
he wasn't.
now, dear.
He kept getting caught. That's why he wasn't a very good killer. But anyway, no, no, I mean not by Sartain, because that guy just wanted to know what it felt like. That's not studying. But, no, I mean like to help us like kind of like realize like what could motivate somebody, what could make them. So we're not just sitting there going like it's evil, you know? Like no, I think Michael needs to survive in order for us to better understand the Michael Myerses of the world. So yeah, no, I'm not choosing him. It's the kid.
Okay.
Kill the kid. Let's see how many people vote for that.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go. You can either vote for Dr. Terrence Wynn or, according to Amethyst Frost, Richie Castle. And you can vote on Patreon, so you can head over there. The poll is open to all of the public, so if you're not supported, you can still join as a free member and vote. But even if you head over there to throw us a little support, it's $5 a month to join these live streams and nominate and vote for the movie that you want us to talk about every month. And it helps this engine, it greases it up. It keeps it running.
Yes, we're not a killing machine. We're a investigative journalism
We're
machine.
podcasters.
Yes.
Investigate. How would they say it if it was Brooklyn? If they're
Yo, we got a pod. Just like, nah, we oh shit. We're investigative journal. How do you de-smart that? We're gumshoes. Just chew some gum.
Gumshoe.
We're gumshoes. We're private detectives, not appointed by the law.
What was the one you? Can you do that but the way that Loomis is Lonnie, get your ass away from her? But because you did it once and it was like a Fran Drescher.
Oh, hey. Oh my God. Hey, Lonnie. Oh my God. What? Like, she wouldn't say get your ass away from there. Get your keys.
Get your tush.
Get your tush away from the. You get your tush away from the threshold. It's crown molding. It's priceless.
God. All right.
Is that Fran Drescher or Janice from Friends? I don't know.
Same thing.
Same
Anyway, Patreon. You can vote there. You can also head over to the Instagram, which is @thecherrypickerpod. Follow us there. Or you can also vote on YouTube. Subscribe to us. We can always use the subscribers. Make sure to like the video as well. I'm looking, there's 3 likes in this chat from just the live stream alone. We should have more. Come on. Come on, guys.
Like us, guys. Like us.
We need validation. It actually does help.
Validation.
Yeah. It does help with the algorithm. You
You
can
need
also
to like us.
write reviews, all that fun stuff. Even if you hated us, just write a bad review. 'Cause it
write a
helps-
bad
it helps-
review.
It helps with the algorithm.
That's really going to encourage
Yeah.
people to help us if they hate us.
Yeah. Oh look, and we just got one. Thank you, whomever that was.
Thank you, whoever
And
you are.
yeah,
It was Grant.
so
It was Grant.
Grant? Grant. Grant. I will grant you this like. You can also listen to us if you are watching on YouTube. The RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. Eduardo, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me on Instagram and the letterboxed Edward is Truth, one word, traditional spelling. How about you, Zach?
You can find me on my main YouTube channel, Zach Cherry, ZACK space CHERRY.
What just happened?
I don't know. It felt like too much work. Instagram and Letterboxd are both retro bitch face, all one word. And then Twitter is Zach Cherry 8. We already know what's happening next week, but just for formality's sake, you want to announce it again?
Is it the one that same night?
Yeah,
Halloween too.
more of the night.
More of the night he came home.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.